Hi, I'm Angie Everhart, and welcome back to my show, Conversations with Angie, on set with Angie, whatever you want to call it.
Love that.
We're winging it here right now. I'm here with a new. I want to call you a good friend because it's kind of kismet the way that all of this is happening, and you're a new friend, Talia Maddock, and I met you through Let's Talk Breast Health, and that whole thing, we were on the same network, and it just kind of, tell me about it.
Tell me about the show.
Oh, tell me about everything.
Well, yeah, the show. I had a show, Let's Talk Breast Health. So I was doing Facebook Lives just to have conversations with women about a topic that was important to me at the time.
And still is.
Yes, it still is.
Very much so.
Yeah. But I just wanted to be visible because I remember being in that place where I was in the dark. And so my whole thing is now that I'm in the light, let's help the women that are behind us and still don't know yet. So part of that for me is important is sharing. Yes. And so social media, we have a huge opportunity and platform to do that like in a heartbeat, in an instant. So if you get inspired with something, hop on Facebook. And that's what I started doing, was sharing. And so a gentleman saw some of my Facebook Lives and asked to start producing them. And at the same time, unbeknownst to me, you were having the same type of conversation for a different show. And so then eventually our paths crossed. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very pleasant way of putting it.
Thank you.
You're very sweet. But no, I'm so happy that, that things worked out. Obviously they didn't work out that way. They're working out with us this way.
Right.
And you're going to open up your platform because it's not only about breast health.
Right.
Because women have so much to say that has not been said before. I mean, in 2 days working with you, I've learned some pretty gross things about women's health. I mean, I learned some things about birth, and I had a baby. And
so funny.
And I was like, what is that? What are you talking about?
See what happens when you get girls around and girlfriends? Yeah, we just open up and start talking. Yeah.
Well, that's the whole idea of Let's Talk Women's Health, is to inform women who don't know. Even in my late 40s, I still didn't know that.
Right.
And which, I just love your platform, and I love what you're standing for.
Thank you. What's your platform too? Because you saw it as important in your, executive producing. So we don't want to smooth over that because it's a big deal to me that you saw the importance of the conversations, and what you just said is it's important because we're women and we're talking, and if people can listen in on these conversations, like I had the opportunity to do listening to you earlier when you interviewed, it's like listening into a private conversation, but it's meant to be shared. So it's awesome.
Well, it is private conversations, but cameras are rolling.
Right. Yeah. And that's what I think
cameras are rolling, and and a lot of the good part is that I can, I'm personable with people, and I love people.
Yes.
And I didn't always love people. I think before cancer, I don't think I was in the same place that I'm in now.
Right.
I think that out of every bad situation comes something good, and that transformed me into having faith in the general population of the goodness of man, when you're down.
Yep.
You don't always get kicked, and coming from the entertainment business, it's sometimes a little hard.
Right.
That you get rejection. It kind of just makes you a little blasé, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
numbed out to it all. That's what I've been learning through just listening to you in some of the interviews, is the industry can be tough. And so it's not just the everyday people. You guys have an extra layer of criticism and beating down, if you will. So, yeah.
Well, we can't ever walk out of the house without looking perfect.
Yeah. And what is that anyway, right?
What is perfect?
Right.
I'm never going to be that. So, everybody has their expectation of how you should look.
Right.
And if you're heavy, or if you're, I've had people I go on a job and they're like, you're too big, or I was never too skinny. That just never happened to me.
Crazy. Yeah. But it's interesting to watch, though. Like you said, we've formed a quick friendship, and I mean, I feel very close to you, but you were just so real, which is what I expect from anybody, but just genuine and real and honest. And like you said, you like to connect with people, and so do I. Like, I like to get to the meat and potatoes of what's going on in a person's life and what makes them who they are. So
Well, good, because you're going to be on my show, like I'm going to be on your show. Our paths are going to be crossing a lot,
Yes.
and I really want to pay it forward and find out what people are inspired by, and so usually start my show with a little foreplay,
Okay.
and
Exciting. My husband's going to be excited about that, even though it's probably different than what I think.
It's a little play on words,
Yes.
and I try to pick words that I think have meaning to each person's life, but and playful and whatever, and just tell me your thoughts. So I picked religion.
Okay. Yeah.
That's one for you.
Okay.
What's your first word?
Okay. My thoughts on religion?
It's a play on words. So you tell me. I say my first word's religion.
Okay.
What's the first thing that came to your mind?
For me, it's faith.
Faith.
Yeah.
Design.
That there's life changing. It's like sets the mood and the tone. So design is overlooked, but it's super important.
Oh, I don't think it's overlooked. I think that you helped me do my set. You are. I mean, instantly when you walk into a room and you start moving things around, you have a talent for that.
Thank you.
Which is, and not everybody does.
That's true. Yeah.
Truly.
Yeah. And that took me a while to accept that, because I'm like, who is going to pay for me to come in and use my eye? But there's a lot of people, and they need it, and they're grateful for it. Just like I pay someone to help me do my makeup or my hair. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're very talented. I love it.
Thank you.
It's good to have you in my corner.
Yes.
How about ambition?
Ambition. I'm very ambitious. I was a single mom. So after I was married for 7 years, divorced, 2 daughters. And so ambition, I think it's important. My girls have seen me grow up with them and hustle with 3 jobs and a business, a design career, and just always holding it down. So ambition is
3 jobs? What did you do for 3
Well,
jobs?
I did medical sales full time, and I still do medical sales. So it's just something that I was in college. A lot of people don't know this. I was in school, nursing school, when we divorced. And I just actually got accepted into nursing school and had 2 babies, and had to completely figure out how I was going to take care of myself and 2 kids.
Right.
So found a job in sales through just meeting people and being personable, and that was my first sales job, is selling Yellow Pages. And
oh wow.
Yeah, at Yellow Pages.
Selling them?
So you go out
I
door
thought
to
they were free.
No. So back in the day when people actually used a phone book, and a home phone, that was a big deal. So you went around to businesses and said, do you want a full page ad? So my goal was to sell.
Selling the ads in Yellow Pages.
Yes,
Okay,
yeah,
got you.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And so that led into meeting someone else who gave me my first job at selling medical stuff. And I was like, well, I have no experience, but they're like, but you're personable and you're a go-getter and you're not afraid to talk to people. And I knocked it out of the park. And so just that led to the next. And I always had a passion for design. So I started doing that on the side as a side hustle. And I just watched it grow as I
love when people call it side hustle, but it's not really a side hustle. It's another job.
It is, and that's what I was going to tell you. It's interesting because it's really not. It's like working 2 full-time jobs plus being a mother.
Right.
You do have to direct your focus more where you want to see growth, and so for me, intentionally this year, as my daughters got older and off to college, I was like, I'm going to shift my focus a little bit more in my design business, and it's incredible how much growth happens when you shift your focus more one place or the other. So,
Do you have a personal motto?
For me and for my kids, it's just to be kind, and for me, I pray about everything because the world is overwhelming. I have been kicked too many times, and there's so many times that I didn't know how I was going to get through it. I mean, being a single mom with 2 kids, there were times where
I get it.
Didn't know how we were going to pay the bills, feed these little babies, and it was. Still to this day, I pinch myself that I'm here, but it's hard work, being kind to people, and just treating people well, and so yeah.
Yeah, for the first time in the last couple of years, I've actually gone out and vocally spoke to God.
Really?
Gone to the beach and been like, all right, what's up?
Yeah. And
do you have it in for me, or what's going on?
Oh my gosh, yes. I had one of those moments. I did.
Seriously, it was like one after the other, after the other, after the other.
Oh, Angie, I can relate. I'm telling you, I had a moment. I know exactly where I was at when I had looked up and had this talk. I was on a walk, and I went on a walk because I was about to lose my ever-loving shit, because I was like, I can't take much more. Like, what's going on? And then for me, and I'm just speaking for myself, everything was out of alignment. I was seeking solutions, and I just it was everything was off balance. The second for me, the conversations start with him in the morning, the conversations in the middle of the day when I'm off track, and at the end of the day, that's when my life started balancing out. That's when stressors and the way what people said about me just didn't affect me as much, and I found myself. So I'm glad that you.
Well, that's inspiring.
Yeah, yeah. For me, it keeps me balanced and at peace. So
Do you work out too?
I do. I used to work out all the time before breast implant illness, and so after I explanted, my body has really changed a lot, and that's part of like this self-love and acceptance. And so I was telling one of the other girls that trying to find what I can work out and do, and because like I tried hot yoga the other day, was an epic fail.
I can't do hot yoga either. Don't feel bad.
Okay, good.
I
Okay.
still have my stuff, and I can't do yoga.
Yeah, I like
People are always-
walking. I like evening
Yeah.
walks with the hot yoga. No, I
Hot
want.
yoga's not my deal either.
Okay, good deal. Because I felt like a failure because all these girls.
No,
I was
don't worry. It's not your jam. It's not it.
Yeah, it's
So-
definitely not my jam. So, no,
But what do you like to do when you work out?
I like lifting weights. I love going for like power walks. I like yoga and Pilates. I've done the reformer machines on the Pilates. So yeah, I just need to find my groove and carve out time for that now. So yeah.
That's awesome. So you're an empty nester,
Yes.
and and that's life changing, right?
Yeah. It was.
What's that like?
Um,
I mean,
It's weird. You walk through your house where your kids have always been, and it's been full of
Is it
chaos.
quiet?
It's too quiet. Yeah, it's too quiet.
and now you're suddenly faced with your husband.
Yes, I know, and he loves it. He's absolutely. I mean, he misses the kids, but he loves it.
Is he dancing naked in the house?
Oh, he wants and all he wants is me to dance around naked too. He's like, that just means.
I can't blame him. I mean, come on,
Oh,
Talia.
I know.
Live it up.
Yes,
Tell him-
we are. We're having fun.
That's good.
Yes,
That's good.
the kids are gonna be like, Mom, that's so gross, but
Well, it's not how I think they got to be here.
that's right. That's true. Yeah, so that's been a transition, but like I was telling you the other day, that's another thing where God just kind of stepped in because on that drive home from dropping off my youngest, I was like, I don't think I can do this. I couldn't breathe. It hurt so much
No.
because you're so used to them being close to you. And my oldest is off in college, but she's like 5 minutes from me. She goes to a university close to us. So I get to see her a lot. She'll pop in and whatever, but my youngest is 3 hours away. But right behind that was just new opportunities, which is what I wake up praying for is just God, move my feet the direction you need me. I want to use my voice to help people and and here comes these opportunities. So I haven't missed a beat. So it's kind of neat.
You know, I hear my grandmother's voice a lot in, she would always say, always be a lady.
Yeah.
Always be a lady.
Yeah.
Always be a lady. And I feel like sometimes, you get tested
Oh, yeah.
a lot in life.
But there's confusion with that because I want my girls to be polite and I want them to be well spoken, but I don't want them to be a lady to the point where that means you're so polite that you compromise your boundaries and
Oh,
what you
no.
wanted. Yeah.
That's not
Yeah.
what she meant.
No,
by
I know.
that.
Yeah. I just want to clarify in case anybody. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no, that's not at all what she
Yeah.
meant. She's, she was the one who I actually always said, the one thing that I regret was changing my name.
Oh, really?
And
Oh, you're
she
not an
said-
Everhart by.
no, not me.
Oh.
She said it.
Oh, okay.
And because she said really and she told me this right before she died. She said, really the only thing that you have is your name.
Mhm.
And that was so profound to me. So, I love my name.
Yeah. Yeah.
My name was changed. I was Angie Allen in the first few years of my life, and then I got adopted
Oh, okay.
and became Angie Everhart, and he adopted me, and it's fabulous. I love being an
Aw.
Everhart.
I love your last name. It's
I
strong.
do too. I love
Yeah.
my dad. He's amazing. I
Really?
love both my dads. They're, but Bobby Everhart is something special. I named my son after him.
Oh. Okay,
Yeah.
so you had your dad, and then it's like a stepdad that.
Well, he adopted me, so he is not my stepdad.
Okay.
He is
I
my
love that.
dad, and they change it on your birth certificate. So
Oh,
I
it's
was,
officially he's dad.
my parents got married when I was 4, so
Okay.
I don't really know any different. He's my dad,
Right.
and
Yeah.
I get very defensive about that because he is my father.
Yeah, and my husband, I'm remarried. We've been remarried for 12 years, but he loves my girls. He does, and he's defensive. If someone says your stepdaughters, no, these are my girls. Yeah,
Right.
So yeah,
So you understand that.
totally get it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that, did you have a moment? Sorry, I just kind of
No, it's okay.
lost my train of thought there. I was thinking about my dad and getting all teary-eyed in my head.
My dad's special to me too.
Hey, you know what? Let's take a break real quick.
Yeah.
And I've got a good question for you.
Okay.
All right, after the break.
Sounds good.
Here's a word from our sponsor.
When it comes to keeping my smile white, I only trust Oral Gen New Pearl Advanced Teeth Whitening System for sensitive teeth. With no harsh chemicals or peroxide, New Pearl offers a unique 99% natural formula that delivers professional results previously only available from your dentist.
Save 50% now on the New Pearl 32X Teeth Whitening Kit. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back. Visit oralgen.com/livewithangie to order now.
So welcome back to my show and on set with Talia Maddock and my guitar playing fan club back here on the wall. I mean, I pick all guitar players, so
Yeah, that's awesome.
I have a thing for guitar players.
I see that.
I need to get Eddie Van Halen up on this wall somewhere.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Van Halen's my favorite, so we got to get him up there. I have a question for you. So is there a point in your life where you stopped what you were doing and took a left turn and it ended up being the right turn? Like that moment of, I'm going to change my life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What was that?
It was, obviously it wasn't an overnight moment, but there was a moment when I made a decision. I was in an unhealthy relationship and this wasn't going to continue this way. But I was a Christian, didn't want to get a divorce, didn't want that whole, and then I was like, I'm in an unhealthy relationship. And it was a moment that I decided this is what needs to happen. It was tough.
Mm-hmm.
It was really tough. It was tough on my girls. It was tough on everybody. But I remember in that journey, in that transition season, when I was run in the park by myself. I was also never ever shared this with anyone. I struggled with an eating disorder.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It was right around the time of the separation, and it was supposed to be just a separation to get some help, and it ended up being a divorce, and just never went back. But it was like the one thing that I could control. It was everything in my life was out of control except that, and I think part of that was in my marriage. At times, I was my weight gain or loss was always brought to my attention, and so I struggle with that. And it was during that time I'm like, my life is spinning out of control. And I remember running in the park one day and was like, I have these 2 babies that you have to work and feed. I'm so hyper focused on how I look, and whatever I eat has to come right back out because I have to look between 102 is as far as I'd let the scale go, or I would completely panic. And everyone in my family kind of knew, something was going on. But it was a moment in the park when I was running and I was obsessing, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, it's not worth it. What the hell am I doing this for? And it was that moment that I decided no more.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, and it was, but it was tough to get out of that cycle of dysfunction of, it kind of was like
what
an
did you
OCD.
do? Did you go see somebody
It was
to get
funny,
help, or
Angie,
did you?
because I went to my provider, my doctor, twice, and I was like, I think I have an eating disorder. And they're like, and they totally brushed it off. They're like, I think you have a little OCD. And I was like,
Well, because most people don't admit they have an
I
eating
know.
disorder. That's why,
Right.
because most eating disorders are,
Secret.
denied, and it's
Yes.
very secretive, and
Oh,
when
and
people
I
actually
did.
do know, but
yeah. And I did. I mean, when I could tell my mom and my sister knew something, I was in complete denial. But it was, at the point where,
I've known a lot of girls with eating disorders.
yeah. And
I couldn't imagine throwing up.
Oh, I know. And I was one of those people until one day it hit me. I was working out, and it had to be a control thing because everything else in my life was out of control.
Right.
And I have, it's been, 10 years since I made that commitment in the park. Like, I have to change my life because I want better for my girls. I still have moments, at times, triggers where I'm like, everything seems out of control and I don't like the way I look. It would be an easy fix, but because of that contract that I made, that commitment.
So wait a minute, you made a contract with
did.
yourself?
No, it was a prayer in the park, and I was talking to God, and I was like, I will never do this again if you help and I know it maybe doesn't work that way, but for me, I had to attach a consequence. I was like, I want my children to be blessed. I don't want to have this life of, I don't know. So it was like a contract that I made. I was like, I'll never do this again, and I will talk to you every day, and I haven't turned back. I mean, I've come close a few times of, being tempted, but because we live in
is faith then.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Yeah. And so it's kind of transformed the way I think about things and just in general,
I thank you for sharing that,
Yeah.
because I know that's not an easy thing to share.
It's not, and I actually shared it with my daughters for the first time this last year, just because I watched them pick themselves apart, and they're gorgeous girls.
They
like
are
yes.
gorgeous.
And I'm like, I hear them saying the awful things to themselves that I used to, and they say, and like all women do at times.
Right.
Yeah, and I was like, so they're like, but Mommy,
Right.
you were always so
I'm heavy right now. I feel the same. I'm like, oh,
you
because
don't feel comfortable.
Well, when my jeans get tight, that's
Yeah.
what I always go by. I don't go by a scale.
And that was the thing. The scale had to leave our house. I mean, we
Yes.
have one. It's down.
big issue.
Yeah, I can't get on a scale. When I go to the doctor, if I have to go, I turn.
I
and
turn
look.
around.
Me too.
I turn around.
Yes. Don't want to know that number. So same thing. If I'm uncomfortable in my clothes, which then that's an indicator. But they were like, Mom, you were always so skinny and so tiny and fit. But I was doing it in an unhealthy way.
Right.
At that point where they remembered. So I finally shared it with them, and they were just, I was telling one of the other guests the other day on my show that I kind of made that mistake with my girls of not sharing some of the things that I struggled with, because I didn't want them to have permission to do the same. But in that, they were like, well, Mom, you were perfect. You didn't make mistakes. And I'm like, no. Like I definitely pushed the limits and made stupid choices. So they're at the age now where we can have a friendship and we could talk about that kind of stuff. So
That's nice.
Yeah.
I mean, don't know if you made a mistake, but you just did what you felt was best
Right.
for your daughter.
yes, that's a good point. Yes.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
So if you had a chance to invite anybody to dinner,
Mm.
who would you invite?
Oh my goodness. Anybody to dinner.
Do you have somebody that you just really like to meet, or in the past, in the present?
Like a celebrity? Do you have
I don't know.
Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, I would actually probably bring my grandma back,
Yeah.
because she was the coolest lady I knew.
Okay, because I'm sitting here going through celebrities, and I'm like, no, but for my dinner for me, family dinners, because we're
Yeah.
kind of spread out. Like vacation, you should hear what our vacation is. It's Danville, Illinois, where my dad lives, and it's on a house with tons of trees on a lake, a private lake. No internet connection there, hardly any. And that's where I want to go with my siblings, with my mom, my dad, even though they're divorced.
And the kids on the water.
And and then we do that every 4th of July. But my parents are at the place, even though they're divorced, they can come together. So
Oh, that's nice.
yeah, and it wasn't always
That's
that
nice.
way, but it's that way now. So
Yeah.
when we're all together, yeah, that's the
Oh,
best.
that's great.
Yeah. So thank you. That was I was thinking, who would I want? So that's it.
I miss my grandmother. She was a driving force, and everywhere I went in the world, I'd write her a postcard,
Really?
and I'd make them all creative. And when she got sick, she had saved them all, and she gave them to me in a brown bag.
Mm,
It was so touching,
'Cause
because
it
she's
meant
like
so
the
much to
matriarch
her.
of our family.
yeah.
I miss her.
Do you look like
I
her?
miss you. We do. I think my mom and I look like my mother,
Yeah.
and I got all the bad stuff she's got too, the aches and the pains and the.
I would think most people disagree. You're doing pretty good for yourself.
Well, so if you have an inspiring word to tell young designers, because that's what you love to do, what would you tell them?
I just had a student shadow me, a high school student who was thinking about going into interior design. Be yourself. I think that applies to everything. I made the mistake of trying to copy other people's aesthetics, because I was like, well, they're killing it. But it wasn't my style. And then one day I was like, that's not me. I'm trying to be everybody instead of myself, and people will hire you for your design aesthetic and your eyes. So be yourself. Don't try to copy. Be creative. Spend time in nature. Like nature is the driving. If you're dry on ideas and creativity, even like you and I, when we need to take a break,
Feet in the sand.
yes, go get grounded.
Get out.
Yep, get outside, get in nature, and that's where you get inspired. When you travel and you go out, view old buildings. I love to tour old buildings and get inspired. So
Do you draw?
yes, I do. Yeah, you'd be surprised. My dad has my artwork all over his house. So yeah,
Oh, nice. You'll have to send me some
I
pictures.
will. Yeah.
I love to draw.
Do you?
I do. It's just, it gives me, when I have a moment and I can pick up a pencil,
Yeah.
I'm drawing.
That's awesome. I didn't know that about
I
you.
love it. I like drawing eyes.
Me too.
You too?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I'm learning so much about you. You're so dynamic. I keep telling you, you need to write a book, or you need to have a camera just follow you around.
I think I'd get in trouble if I wrote a book.
I know, but you have such cool stories.
Well, I'll tell them here.
Yeah.
instead of
You
writing
guys are
about
lucky. Yeah. Yes.
Well, Talia, you'll get to come in and out. We're gonna cut this interview short because I
Yes.
know you got a plane to catch.
Yes.
And you're gonna be in and out on my show
Yes.
as
And vice versa.
as a guest often,
Awesome. Yeah.
since we are working together and doing stuff together and travel around. We're gonna do all kinds of fun
Yeah,
stuff
fun
together.
stuff.
And I appreciate you being here. And thank you for watching.